So, a lot of people have been talking about the remake of House Party. And while I do understand people's sentiments, House Party is a classic. It is near and dear to our hearts as 90s kids. But I feel like they did a great job paying homage to the original. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you what I liked, what I didn't like about the movie, and then I'll give you my final rating at the end, so stay tuned. Okay, y'all, welcome back to another video with me, May. Now, if you're new here, my name is Kamay. I like to do movie reviews, TV recaps, trailer reactions, and just start a discussion about the movies and TV shows that I am watching. So in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the remake of House Party. I went to go see it in the movie theaters last Thursday, and I left the theater smiling. It was a fun time. It's gonna be very memorable, I can say that. But when I checked online on Twitter and I'm seeing how everybody's reacting to the movie, the discourse that's online is that it's terrible, they should have left it alone. Now, while I do agree that House Party is a classic that really didn't need to be touched, but I feel like this film did that in a very tasteful way without trying too hard. This movie clearly was in its own lane. It wasn't trying to be a classic like House Party. Like, it wasn't trying to replace House Party. It wasn't trying to erase House Party. They actually had a few scenes where they did like the wink and the gun at us, the viewers, like, look, this is a reference to House Party. And that's what I enjoyed about it personally. I grew up on House Party, and like, it's very quotable, it's very memorable, and I feel like the thing that makes House Party such a classic is that so many people were small-time actors at that time, and they made it big, and they became something bigger. So House Party was a start for a lot of different actors. Kid and Play was in their bag at that time. They were pretty popular, so it made sense for them to be this dynamic duo. And at the heart of House Party, it is about two people having a party. They probably shouldn't be having a party, and everything that happens that night of that party. And the remake is pretty much the same thing. It is two people having a party when they shouldn't be having a party. The only thing that I would say is the scale of the party that's in the remake. It's going down at LeBron James's house. Like, what are the odds that it's going down at LeBron James's house? So first thing I enjoyed about the movie is the pace that the story was told. It was told very well where I could break it down, I can digest it, I never asked, what is happening right now? Like, every scene that they were in, I understood why we got there, and they never confused me as a viewer. I also liked that there were a few fresh faces in this movie. Now, one thing I will say, spoiler alert, even though I said I was gonna do spoiler free, spoiler alert, there are a lot of celebrity cameos. And for me, that was a little bit distracting. I was so caught up of like, oh, that's such and such, that I completely missed the dialogue and it went right over my head. So I'm sure on the replay of this movie, those jokes will hit and they will land with me, but in the moment of enjoying the movie, a lot of dialogue was missed for me just by looking at the celebrities, and some of the cameos did not seem to be necessary. This movie was very oversaturated with celebrities, and I want to assume that was attributed to LeBron James having his hand in the making, of this, in the production of this film. If anybody doesn't know, Spring Hill Productions is LeBron James, and Maverick Carter, that is their production company. So they were behind this film, which is a reason why I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see this movie just because they're behind it. But I felt like he called in some favors and they showed up. Because of course, who's gonna say no to LeBron and a House Party remake? Like who's gonna turn that down? So a lot of the cameos just seemed to be forced. They were very unnecessary, sometimes a little bit saturated, a little oversaturated with celebrity cameos. But that is probably what's going to make it memorable. Because the one thing I can also say I liked about this movie was the fact that it was way better than House Party 4 with Immature. That one, I like to pretend like that one doesn't exist, like I know all of us do. And House Party 5, that movie was so forgettable. I totally forgot about it until I went to look up the House Party franchise, and I was like, oh yeah, they did make a House Party 5 with the little brother from Everybody Hates Chris, but it was very forgettable. So this movie it knocks both of those movies out the park. It's gonna be memorable because there's a lot of celebrity cameos, but I feel like the cameos kind of worked against it, just as far as keeping my attention and not, distracting me. Now, I know I did say I was gonna do like pros, cons. So the pros that really made me want to go see this movie in the first place was the fact that it was R-rated. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely look at that. If a movie is R-rated, I'm gonna take it serious, like, okay, this might be, let's see, it might be good. So it's R-rated. LeBron James's company, Spring Hill Productions, was behind it. New Line Cinema was behind it. I mean, come on. New Line Cinema is a staple in movies right now, where we know usually if that opening scene says New Line Cinema, we know it's gonna be good. So that was the thing that sold me over. The next thing was the cast. The cast did seem like a little bit of an all-star cast. I like that Jacob Latimore was starring in it, even though he does seem to have the same type of characters that he plays. He always plays like a good guy, just trying to make it for his kid, trying to do better. He plays that good guy role, but his co-star was someone that I had not seen. I'm sure he's known for other different things, but I have not seen him in a lot of different projects. And to me, the actor who played Damon, he played the role well. I think he personally stole the show for me. He was the star. Jacob Latimore was just, his co-star. So I really liked him. The love interest for Kevin, who was played by Jacob Latimore, the character of Kevin, his love interest, she was a fresh face that I haven't seen. So I liked her. Her cousin, whoever, was really good. I haven't seen her. So I'm all about fresh faces, up and coming actresses, up and coming actors that I haven't heard of. I love that. Sometimes it's a little distracting when you have this celebrity that you know of. It's like, oh, that's such and such. You know what I'm saying? So it takes away a little bit of the dialogue, because I'm like, okay, what are they gonna say? Because I'm usually typecasting certain actresses and actors. But that won me over. The fact that the writers on this movie was Stephen Glover, which is Donald Glover's little brother, and Jamal Olori. They both were writers on Atlanta. And Atlanta was the best show that I feel like we've gotten in the last 5 to 10 years. Like, Atlanta was a very good series. Each season was phenomenal. So I'm like, those writers are behind it. It gotta be good, right? And the final thing that got me to watch this movie was the director. The director is Cal Maddock. And at first glance, I knew that name sounded familiar, but I didn't know why. So when I went to look into his projects and what he's done, he has done some commercials, he has done some music videos. More recently, he did Kendrick Lamar's video for Rich Spirit and the visual for Rich Spirit, and that he did a phenomenal job. So I was like, okay, this guy might actually be good. So with those elements, I was like, okay, this might be a good film. This could be a fun time. And that's all I'm looking for. When I go to the movies, I want to have fun. I want to be entertained. I want to laugh. I want to take something away with me. I want to quote something with me. And this movie did a great job doing that. So like I told y'all earlier, my only cons for this movie was the fact that just so many damn cameos. It was very distracting. It took my attention off the dialogue. It took my attention off the punchlines. They probably would have landed a lot better had I not been like kind of starstruck about like, oh, that's such and such. That was in the scene for 2 seconds, literally 2 seconds. So that's my only cons. It's a fun time. This movie also, I feel like it should be geared towards Gen Z. It is okay if you are a 90s, you're an 80s baby, 90s kid. This movie might not be for you. It's not gonna be memorable for you. And that's okay. It's for the kids. It's for the 20-somethings who have been born decades after House Party came out. Because I mean, let's be real. House Party came out 32 years ago. I am about to be 35. So, you know, it's for the 20-somethings. What about the kids who are 25? They probably weren't watching House Party all like that like we were. So that's okay. Like, I feel like that is okay. But it was a fun time. I think y'all should go see it. Judge for yourself. And I will see y'all in the next recap, review. I'm out. Peace.